On Sunday, Sam and I went scuba diving, and it was so good. But I'm not even joking. There was the biggest swarm of the most beautiful moons that have ever existed on the planet.
And by moons you mean jellyfish, correct?
Moon jellyfish. And they were visible only for every second that I was not about to get off the boat. So everyone else saw them and not me.
Yeah, I was in the water and I have never been surrounded by so many jellyfish in my life. And I yelled back up to the boat, "Somebody get Sophie in the water!" And then no one did.
Hello, and welcome to another episode of Midlight Crisis, a real podcast hosted by three grown-up biologists revisiting books from our teens, and it's totally cool. I am one of your hosts, Sophie, and today I have been genetically recombined with a bird that has a superpower, but only just the smallest amount of that bird.
How much would you say?
Yeah, one might say 2%. 2% bird. They had to suck out the 2% human with a needle and then put the bird part in. Yeah.
Yeah?
Yep. Anyway.
With the amniocentesis.
Yeah. With a turkey baster. Anyway, so the bird. This way, I got too specific. Anyway.
You were thinking about jellyfish still.
Yeah, okay. The bird with a superpower that I've been genetically recombined with today. I have to take a big breath for this one. There's a lot of words. Yeah.
Ooh, okay.
Okay. Laserhead shark dragon eider.
What?
And now to be clear, I'm a bird.
Yeah.
So of those things, I'm an eider.
Right.
Who I guess is a dragon eider.
A dragon eider.
And the superpower I have is laserhead shark.
That's a great superpower.
That is a great superpower.
Yeah. I love being able to laserhead shark, you know? It's just really useful.
Yeah. So applicable to a variety of situations.
Yeah. Just like no specification. Do I put laser heads on sharks? Do I conjure laser-headed sharks from thin air?
You turn into a shark with a laser head.
Or
there you go.
I can laser sharks in the head.
Yeah. Oh, I bet it's that one. Extremely specific superpowers.
Yeah. I am kind of obsessed, I'm not gonna lie, with the idea of a dragon eider. Like, I'm imagining an eider with, like, Marconi penguin? What are they? Macaroni penguin? Which one are
macaroni?
They? Macaroni penguin with, like, those eyebrows. Like, imagining, like, mandarin duck colors.
Yeah.
Like, just
no, it's good.
all over the place. Yeah.
Yeah, I love it. The laserhead shark is a little questionable, but dragon eider, I am in full support.
Yeah. Maybe I just have a laserhead shark on my head.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yep. A lot of questions. Maybe we'll figure them out one day. But what about you guys? Who are you? What are you? More is what I should ask.
My name is Sam, but today I am genetically recombined with 2% of a banshee Twitter quail.
Oh, a banshee Twitter. That's my favorite part of Twitter.
I feel like that's just Twitter generally.
I think that's just Twitter right now.
Yeah.
Screaming into the void.
Oh, God.
Yeah.
No, guys, it's not Twitter. It's X. It's still twitter.com, but we don't use the word tweet anymore.
No.
No.
Twitter quail.
Twitter quail.
I do just like, quail are so adorable.
They are so cute.
And I'm assuming a Twitter quail is just solid blue.
Ooh.
Just all over blue.
Oh, yeah. It would have to be.
Yeah, and they're so tiny and adorable, and then it opens its mouth and just releases the most horrific scream.
Yeah, for sure.
Like, have you ever heard a fox scream?
Yeah.
They sound like someone's dying. Yeah.
Yeah, so it's this adorable, tiny, aqua blue quail.
Uh-huh.
and when it opens its mouth, it does that.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Great. Perfect
I'm down.
animal. I'm down.
I'm done with that.
Good animal to be recombined with, Sam.
Yeah, good choice. Now you can scream and be cute.
Wow.
I don't know if you couldn't do that before, but if you couldn't before, you sure
Now you
can
can.
now. Anyway, I'm Hannah, and today I am 2% combined with something that I basically am in the winter anyway, which is a sticky maple skimmer.
Oh.
You know, when you go to like a sugar shack or like a ski hill and they give you the sticky maple syrup and you like skim it over over the snow and then you wrap it up on a popsicle stick and eat it because you're Canadian.
Yeah, you just walk over to the snow troughs they make them in and then you open your mouth and just across the whole
you just skim the whole thing off.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They're like, please let us hand you the stick. And you're like, no. And then
you're
just
like,
go
no.
face first into the snow.
I'm a bird. This is how I eat.
I evolved for this.
Yeah. This is my niche.
This is my niche. Yeah.
Oh, man.
Wow. Also a good bird.
Right?
Very patriotic.
Thank you. I guess. Depends on the day.
It depends on the day, and those days are the 8 months of winter.
Yeah.
Anyway, now that we've figured out what we are,
mm-hmm.
The reason we have been genetically recombined with birds that have superpowers, obviously, is because we're reading Maximum Ride, the Angel Experiment, the book about the bird kids. So, as always, we've read 4 chapters this week. So how about you guys tell us what happened in them?
Well, our flock is once again flying away as fast as they can from erasers. And I feel like we should have been tracking just like how many chase scenes there are in this book because it's starting to just get a bit ridiculous. But anyways, they find a group of children heading into Central Park Zoo and merge themselves into the crowd. The erasers try to follow them, but the policemen at the entrance stop them in their tracks, saying it's a school kids' day only, so only approved chaperones are allowed in. Nudge gets super excited that they get to explore the zoo, and so they start their zoo adventure. And chapter 78 brings us to the flock looking at the polar bears, my personal favorite, and most of them are having a great time except Max and Fang, who have a case of the creeped out thinking of their own time in cages. Max says she wants to free all the animals, but Fang comes in with the sensible answer that the animals are all better off where they are unless she wants to fly the polar bear back to Greenland. Anyways, Max feels sick by the end of the chapter, and they all make an escape to some back alley of the zoo, likely only available to the zookeepers.
Yeah, and then they break back out into New York City, which Gasman likes because it's full of weirdos. And the flock reflects on how they don't stand out in the city because of the aforementioned weirdos. And then they discuss these new updated erasers, and also Max is just generally kind of a downer. Then in chapter 80, they discuss how they're going to find the Institute. Max has a full-fledged vision of some marble lions, and they decide to go to the library.
Having fun isn't hard when you've got a
library card. Wow, a core memory.
Yeah, a relatable and topical reference, I'm sure.
I assume most of our audience is also millennials, so...
Fair.
What's good?
What's good? Great.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Max is like pro-cop and anti-zoo, so like, I don't know.
I'm so glad you said that.
Yeah. I don't know that Max and I would get along that well. Also, since when do cops like run the gate of the zoo?
Yeah, it would be like zoo security.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like at most zoo security, or at least a like overworked, tired 25-year-old.
Yeah.
Working the concession stand of being like, no, you can't come in.
Yeah. Yeah, I don't care who you are. Like, did you see the sign over there that says schools only? Yeah, there's a sign. Please read the sign.
Please read the sign.
Please read the sign. No, you can't come in unless you are a child.
Yeah. Although, you know, maybe New York, I don't know. Maybe there are cops who keep only paying customers from entering the zoo. I don't know. I'm guessing it's a security guard, though.
Yeah, it seems implausible that this is actually a New York City police officer.
Yeah.
Anyway, nudges me in this chapter because she is so stoked to be at the zoo.
Yeah.
And I am also stoked anytime I go to the zoo.
I
Yeah.
love the zoo.
We love the zoo.
We do love the zoo.
I don't know if I'm just noticing it, but Max is such a downer.
She's such a bummer all the
Oh
time.
my god.
And like,
Like,
I get it, but geez.
yeah, like I feel like it's well, I was gonna say, I feel like it's been since Angel was kidnapped, but I was like, that was like the third chapter.
Yeah, that was the beginning of the book.
Yeah. But especially since all of them are together, I guess she's like the quote unquote adult.
Yeah,
But man, all she says and thinks and talks about is how we can't have fun.
yeah,
Stop having fun, kids.
yeah. Yeah, anytime Nudge is like, wow, I'm so excited about this thing, Max is like, let me just kill that buzz real quick. It's like, can you
Yeah.
just like let her have this?
Yeah. I mean, at least in this chapter, she doesn't say anything. Like
Yeah,
one
yeah.
chapter, she just thinks it.
Yeah, because Nudge thanks Max for taking them to the zoo because she's so excited to be at the zoo. And Max is like, yeah, sure. Because I had anything to do with this. And it's like, Max, just.
Just
Nudge
have a
is
good
trying to be
time.
nice. Just accept it.
Yeah. And then Iggy is like, wow, was that a lion? Please tell me it's behind bars. And Nudge is like, it's a zoo, Iggy. Everything is behind bars. And then
Uh
Max is like, just like we used to
huh.
be.
It's like, whoa. You know what this is? Max is like the comment section on TikTok. Because it is like such a trend
Ooh.
there to just trauma dump in everybody's comment section. I don't know why. It's so obnoxious. You can be like, wow, I like look at this funny thing my dad did. Like, he's so silly. And the comments are like, oh, my dad got run over by a truck when I was 4 years old and his eyeball flew out of his head and hit me on the foot. And it's like, uh,
You don't have to be like that,
it's like,
actually.
I didn't need that here on my silly happy dad joke
Yeah.
video.
Comment just like, dads only do that when they're stressed.
Yeah.
Aw.
I'm actually a dadologist. Dads only do this when they're very stressed.
Dads only do that when they're very stressed.
Uh-huh.
I just kind of want to talk about them being at the zoo, but that's technically the next chapter. Can we just talk about them being in the zoo?
Yeah, go for it, I would say.
Yeah, there wasn't
Same.
really much in chapter 77.
No.
Yeah, we've covered it.
Yep.
Yeah, Max is anti-zoo for no good reason, and Fang is pro-zoo. Also unclear why.
Yeah.
I don't know if Fang
Uh,
was pro zoo, but more just like pro logic and like you can't just release these animals into New York. That was kind of
yeah.
the vibe I got. Was that like he agreed with her, but was like, you can't just set them free. That's stupid. Like they're actually well cared for, whereas we weren't, kind of thing. So that no, I'm not saying that like he might be pro zoo, but I didn't get the vibe that he like was fully in support. It was more just like he saw the better side of it, and then Max, who was just like, free these animals, they're better in the city streets where no one's gonna feed them, kind of thing.
Yeah, true. Also, like, have either of you, Sam, you've been to like the Bronx Zoo, you said, right? You hadn't been to Central Park Zoo?
No, my brother had been there.
Okay.
I have not been there. I have not entered New York City. I've entered New York State, not the city.
Nope.
Not the city. I just feel like because the zoos that I have been to, even in 2009, what is it? 2004? Not 2009.
I think, yeah, 4 or 5.
Yeah, like I feel like even by then, I don't think zoos should trigger like animals aren't in big barred cages, you
Yeah.
know?
Yeah.
No,
Like
yeah.
Yeah, and obviously, like, we don't know what Central Park Zoo was like back in 2004 or whatever, but it is like an AZA accredited facility. Like, it does
okay.
do a lot. Yeah, so that means it, like, kind of stands up with and aligns with, like, the highest international standard in captive animal care. And you do have to get, like, audited every so many years to keep that certification. And I was, like, looking at their maps and stuff. It looks like they keep like species that are more or less appropriate for the amount of space they have. They participate in a lot of like research and conservation efforts, which good zoos often do. So from like what I could tell, the Central Park Zoo does seem like a pretty legit, like, decent facility, but I haven't been, so it's hard to say.
Great. I didn't look up the Central Park Zoo specifically, but I'm glad to know they're AZA accredited.
Yeah.
Because I looked up the AZA Animal Care Manual for polar bears.
Okay.
Nice.
Because I was
Please
like,
tell us.
well, we know there's one animal in the zoo and it's a polar bear.
It's a polar bear.
Because the habitat that Max would be looking at and thinking about it being similar to the cage she was in when she was little, that was so small she couldn't stand up. So I did the math because the AZA, so the Association of Zoos and Aquariums, as Hannah said, maintains this basic standard that zoos have to have in order to house animals and be accredited. So,
Mhm.
for a polar bear, a single polar bear has to have an exhibit that is at least 5,400 square feet, just land, or 500 square meters. But then they also have to have a 760 square foot pool that has to be 9 feet deep in at least one section, and they have to have a off-site, like off viewing area that has to be at least 850 square feet. So altogether, just to be like really helpful to everybody, I think this polar bear exhibit is about the size, like the minimum size of a polar bear exhibit has to be the same size as Dangerous Lagoon.
Oh, yeah. Dangerous
And that's
Lagoon.
in Ripley's Aquarium of Canada in Toronto, which everyone's been to and knows so
Yeah.
well.
So similar to, like, a big shark tank in an aquarium.
Well, I think that one's one of the biggest
Is it
ones,
the
but
biggest?
yeah, no, I think the Discovery one in Disney's bigger. But anyway, more helpfully, I think it's about 2/3 the size of a football field.
Okay. It's a good amount of space.
Yeah, and the AZA requires that the habitat be accessible for regular change by like trucks and construction equipment to
Oh.
change like the topography. You have to be able to move like boulders, like all the sort of quote unquote furniture they call it. So you have to be able to like move trees or like logs and stones and like platforms that they go on. All of that stuff has to be able to move so that you can change the exhibit like once a week.
Yeah.
Yeah. My other favorite part was maybe Max relates so well to the polar bears because I didn't know this. Apparently, polar bears make nests.
Aw. I didn't know that.
Aw.
Like birds.
Yeah, like birds.
Like birds.
Uh-huh. Notable animal that makes a nest. A bird.
Yeah. Like, Max.
Uh-huh.
So I just thought that was funny. It was like, you have to have soft substrate, like straw, for polar
Aw.
bears to make a nest.
Aw,
Yeah,
cute.
and it requires that the habitat be fully planted, like with live plants, not fake plants. Like you have to have trees, you have to have panoramic views for them to look out on.
Oh.
So, like, nothing about these habitats will particularly scream cage.
Yeah.
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 Anyway, that's what I looked up.
I'm glad you looked into that because I looked into specifically polar bears at Central Park Zoo, and they don't currently have any.
Oh.
They do have grizzly bears in their like bear habitat. And interestingly, they used to have a trio of polar bears, the most famous being Gus, who was both the poster child for like New York in like the 90s, but also is sort of like a poster child for stereotypy in zoo animals. So that's
Ah.
like animals that develop like really repetitive stress behaviors. Pacing is like a really common one. Gus's one was like swimming in figure eights, and he would just do the same pattern with the
Aw.
same movements over and over again, which
Aw.
is common in captive animals that do not have like an appropriately sized or an appropriately enriched environment. So
Hmm.
they like brought in all of these. They brought in an animal therapist to
Aw.
like figure out what was wrong with him, and they started
Aw.
providing him with a lot more enrichment, both like in his habitat and like in his feeding and in his training and stuff, and he did start to do a bit better. So I wonder if like the current AZA requirements are based partly around like the situation that happened with Gus the bear in the 80s and 90s.
Yeah, because this manual was put together in 2009
Okay.
based on a lot of research from, I think it was from a previous version, but it seems like the oldest, quote unquote,
Yeah.
stuff being cited in here is like 2004, 2005.
Yeah, that makes sense. The like Gus and he had two female companions, one of whom died in 2004. So there actually would have been 2000, or there would have been two polar bears in the Central Park Zoo in 2005, and
Whoa.
one of them would have been larger because polar bears are sexually dimorphic. So when Max says in this chapter that there's like a big bear and a smaller backup bear, it's actually just like a male bear and a female bear. But like the three bears were like the headliners in a 2005 conference on like environmental enrichment for captive animals.
Wow.
Yeah. So, I mean, that's diverging a little bit from actual Maximum Ride, but I thought it was really interesting that, like, no, this is an actual bear that lived in Central Park Zoo. His name was Gus, and he had his friend Ida with him in 2005.
Wow. I wonder if that's why it specifically mentions at the beginning of this, like the bear had an empty steel beer keg to play with, which it was
Yeah.
batting through the water. It's like this was the year he was getting enriched.
Yeah, he was getting all of this new stuff.
Aw.
Apparently, my favorite part about this in 2002, they gave him a jacuzzi to see if that would cheer him up.
That would cheer
Aw.
me up.
It would cheer me up. Like, man, if I start exhibiting stereotypy, will someone give me a jacuzzi and also pay for me to see a therapist? Because, like, that sounds pretty great. I would
sounds
pay
pretty
some
great.
circles for that.
Give me a pool with some toys in it? Sure.
Oh my god, amazing.
Oh, that's funny. That's cool.
Yeah.
I felt like I wanted to talk about enrichment, but I don't remember what I wanted to talk about anymore.
Was it the keg that he was batting around?
Maybe?
Yeah. Enrichment is super important for captive animals because if they get too bored or understimulated, then they start doing those weird, like, stress behaviors.
Yeah.
And for animals, like, for predators in particular, I think, and for animals that are used to like having a lot of space in the wild, they tend to require a lot more. Like if you're looking at something like a reef fish that like is mostly a prey animal and spends its entire life hanging around one patch of coral, like you can bring that kind of animal into captivity and they're usually fine as long as like the water quality is good.
Yeah.
But if you're talking about something like a bear or an octopus, it's like you need to you need to give them some mental stimulation and some like variability in their environment and like kind of satisfy some of the like hunting instincts. Otherwise they get a little neurotic.
Yeah. I do love that, like, the description, like, normally I will give James Patterson this.
Hmm.
Normally you read a chapter where they go to a zoo in a book, and it's always like the bear was sitting disconsolately, like,
Yeah.
like
Mhm.
miserably lying in the sun in a corner of his cage. But like it is kind of funny to me that Max, every description is like the huge white bear swam gracefully in its pool. It had a empty beer keg to play with, which it was batting through the water. Like
Yeah.
all of the descriptions, they had a pretty large habitat with huge rocks, an enormous swimming pool, toys to play with. And then like the next paragraph, she's like, these animals stuck in enclosures, probably bored out of their minds, possibly
Uh-huh.
lonely. It's like, I
Uh-huh.
don't think like nothing you've seen implies that.
Max in this chapter is like every like well-meaning but completely uneducated person who's been like, you should just let all the animals go. And it's like that's
Yup.
no. They're all gonna die if you do that. Every single one of
Listen,
them.
yeah, even if Max did fly this polar bear to Greenland on her back, the polar bear would die because it doesn't know how to hunt.
Yeah, like if it's Gus specifically, he was born in captivity. Like he lived his entire life in captivity. He would not have the skills to survive in the wild.
Yeah.
Especially an animal like a bear that does actually have to learn how to do things and doesn't just like act fully on instinct like some smaller generally animals tend to.
Yeah.
Or like invertebrates, a lot of them don't really care where they are.
I don't know about Gus specifically, but
Hmm.
there is a species survival plan of breeding. And
Yep.
yeah, so zoos that are AZA accredited usually have animals that are part of like a breeding program to try and help bolster like the
Hmm.
genetic pool
Hmm.
while the ones in the wild are going extinct. And then also to hopefully bolster like captive rearing that can be released programs.
When I was reading about the Central Park Zoo, they've been apparently like quite like foundational in captive breeding for release for I think a species of eider and a species of bird of paradise.
Laserhead shark dragon eider.
Yeah, that's the one. Thank you
That's
for reminding
the-
me. Yeah.
Anytime.
So yeah, captivity of animals certainly like has its issues. I don't think any of us are trying to pretend that it's like perfect, but
Yeah.
I feel like most people's immediate reaction is everything about zoos is bad. Period. Is like that's not I don't think that's an accurate assessment of animals in captivity. I understand why Max has that opinion because she was a child in abusive captivity, so I can see why she's
Yeah.
projecting, but like in
Yeah,
real
I
life,
mean, makes sense.
yeah, I get why she doesn't like it.
Yeah. Anyway, that's a soapbox about
Yeah.
animals in captivity.
Uh-huh.
Let's move on to the book we're reading.
Yeah, I guess, huh?
Not talking about the zoo.
Okay.
I want to talk about Max saying that they have retractable wings.
Yeah, what the hell?
What
What
the
does
hell?
that mean?
What does
What does
that
she mean by retractable?
She can't mean that.
It's like a lanyard where you just like
Yeah, no,
like
they
it
can't.
can't possibly be correct.
That can't be correct.
I think I looked at that, went and then decided to move on because I was like, I can't even.
Yeah,
I
me too.
don't even know where to start with this.
I didn't look it up because I'm like, no. And also, I think she just means they can fold in flat against
Yeah.
their backs, like she has said before.
Yeah, I don't think she means retractable, but the use of the word retractable, I was like, oh, what? What? Excuse me? Please elaborate.
Or don't.
Or don't.
Or we'll just pretend you didn't say it.
Yeah. Should we also pretend that Max doesn't say that Iggy looked like an ice cream cone?
Oh, that was the weirdest
That was
thing.
so weird.
I also had to read that sentence twice.
Yeah.
I just couldn't take it seriously. Why did you describe him as vanilla? You can't do that.
Your brother and also 14 and also.
I think she just meant white, but
Yeah.
I think
vanilla
so
has like a
too,
certain
but-
connotation when it's used to describe a person.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah, the line is like Iggy was licking an ice cream cone that was like a mini him, tall, thin, and vanilla. It's like that's not
You can't.
That's
That's
not
not-
the right way to describe a child
no, that's not
at
correct.
all. It's terrible.
No.
Oh my god.
Whichever editor okayed that, you should be fired.
You couldn't have picked a different descriptor? Like beige would have been a really funny
Right?
word to use there.
Yeah, even just white.
White, yeah.
White, better. Yeah, not
Much better.
vanilla.
No.
Yeah, no.
It does give me maybe the vibes. You know, like when a kid hears a word and they like and then they use it in the way they think it means,
Yeah.
but it doesn't mean that. Like this maybe
Yeah.
they accidentally saw an adult
Mm.
an adult movie or show that used vanilla as a descriptor for someone, and Max was like, yeah, because that person's white.
I have a core memory of that happening to me. I mean,
With vanilla.
no, of me saying that like someone was a pussy, thinking it just meant they're like a limp. And my parents were absolutely shocked, and I was like, "Oh no, I've done something wrong," and that moment has lived in my brain for like 15 years. Actually,
really
probably longer,
funny.
probably like 20 years at this point. Yeah, oh my god.
My god, that's funny.
Oh, yeah.
That's really good.
I even remember who I was talking about.
man.
Whoop.
It was a hockey player. Oh, I'm cringing right now.
Okay, well, we can move on past that
Okay.
because I want to talk about what a leatherite is.
Oh yeah, I don't know what that is.
So it's like the next sentence where Max is talking about how in New York City everyone is weird. It's like right after Gasman is like, wow, everyone in New York is weirder than we are.
Uh-huh.
And Max is like listing a bunch of the kinds of people she sees. And so she's like,
yeah.
gorgeous supermodels, punk rockers, goths, and leatherites.
Oh no.
suits, students, people from every other country. And it's just like, I was like, what's a leatherite? I was like, I kind of know, I know what every other one is. What's a
Yeah.
leatherite? I don't think a leatherite is like a thing.
Oh.
Well, I tried to look up leatherite, and I guess there's like a fabric or like it's like a fake leather that's called leatherite. And so I think that
Yeah.
maybe has just buried every maybe historical reference to what a leatherite is.
Yeah.
But as far as I can tell, based on one thing I found, is that Leon Trotsky of the Bolsheviks
Okay.
was called a leatherite because just before like the October Revolution of the communists in Russia, I guess Leon Trotsky was like well known for introducing like a leather uniform as fashion.
Sure.
And then so I was like, okay, but then how does that relate to North America? Because it's
Yeah.
just like the Russian communists in 1919. like what is happening? I did look it up. James Patterson was born in 1940, so there's a little
Oh
bit
my
of
god, he's so old.
yeah, his like I'm like where's the connection? As far as I could tell, I think what maybe it is that that's what that specific group was called,
Sure.
and then maybe he's referencing that like leather was popularized after World War II, you know? I don't know.
So it just means folks who wear leather.
Yeah. Like I'm like that's not what I was like this isn't what people who just like wear leather. And I was like, no, they don't call themselves that.
I definitely thought it was in kind of the same vein as vanilla, if
That's
you
yeah.
know what I mean. But
Yes.
also, why?
I did look up like the leather kink subculture
Yeah.
just to be like, is this what you call yourselves? And it's like, no.
Nobody calls themselves that.
No.
Okay.
Nobody calls themselves that.
Interesting. Max, please explain.
Max, please explain. Anyway, I got like kind of distracted because I was like, wow, that's weird. Like the kink, like the leather subculture came out of World War II biker culture. Like
Oh.
that's where like leather biker kind of that whole thing happened because I guess there were motorcycle messengers in World War II.
Oh my god.
I didn't know that.
Wow. I didn't either.
And then I was like, wow, I wonder if the extremely cool leather wearing communists that were part of the big three of the Allied nations.
Uh huh.
I wonder if they were so cool that like the bikers were like, hell yeah.
Hell yeah.
And that's when it got to North America. But I don't know.
Uh huh. Seems plausible to me. Americans love communists. So
Yeah, what's not to like?
everybody
Americans
knows.
love it. Yeah. Yeah, anyway. There was a lot going on in these chapters, which is why I have like 14 tabs open about the
Oh my god.
Bolshevik, Leon Trotsky,
Uh-huh.
motorcycle culture in the 1940s.
Oh my god.
Anyway, that's all I had to say. I don't know what a leatherite is still. I guess a communist from 1917.
Yeah.
Wow, all around us in New York, gorgeous supermodels, time traveling communists.
Oh my god.
Leon Trotsky specifically.
Leon Trotsky. That's crazy.
Yeah,
I
it's
don't
not
even know
really.
what to do with that.
Anyway, I just got distracted. Anyway, they're on version 6 of Erasers.
Yeah, version 6 of Erasers? 6.0? What, like, did we skip through 1 through 5 already? Or did that happen off screen? Did Fang just pick with a random number 6?
I'm assuming the one they had just before was 5?
I mean, it must be. We've had no indication that these were like Eraser 5.0. Also, now there are female erasers, which I'm glad that Fang acknowledged that because I was also confused about why suddenly there was one female eraser last time.
No, I feel like this is maybe actually good world building where he's showing and not telling, you know?
Yeah, I
Instead
agree.
of being like, gosh, we've been through 6 different versions of erasers and they keep getting more and like, so I could get behind it, but
I think it's interesting that they point out that the erasers are different, maybe even than they were like at the start of the book.
Yeah.
And that they seem more human, which is a little vague, but you know,
Yeah.
Max calls them this year's crop, which is kind of hilarious.
Yeah, hasn't it been like 2 weeks since the, like 4
Yeah.
days since the last crop?
Wait, yeah. Maybe it's been the new crop the whole time and they're only just commenting on it now?
Mysterious.
Mysterious.
Yeah, I guess it's weird. Why did they not have women in them before?
See, that makes sense to me because
Yeah, they never include women in scientific research.
like women's bodies are more complex than male bodies because of our hormonal cycles. Like the male hormonal cycle, at least in humans, is like 24 hours versus the human one, or the female one rather, which is like 28-ish days, right? So it's harder to test drugs and like look at the effects of disease and medicine in female bodies because female bodies are influenced by our hormonal cycle. Therefore, instead of trying to like account for all of the variations in the hormonal cycle in like female humans, a lot of like pharmacokinetic research just doesn't include female models. And like it's, if you look at like lab rats and stuff, they usually only use males for the same reason because males don't have an extreme hormonal cycle in the same way that females do.
This is all great information, but they have 3 female bird kids.
They do have 3 female bird kids.
And one of them is the oldest.
Yeah.
So that was the first one they did.
Yeah. They're doing something different with the bird kids than they did with the erasers for sure.
No, it's just likely a gender stereotype because the erasers are meant to be warriors, so they didn't even bother with women at the beginning because they were like, oh, there's no point in putting in all this extra effort because they should be men, they're tough, blah, 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 you know.
Yeah.
Right. But Fang has it right. Females, so bloodthirsty.
Uh-huh. So bloodthirsty.
It's true.
I like how he immediately says dirty fighting, rude Fang.
He's definitely commenting on something.
Yeah.
It's like looking sidelong at Max. It's like, yeah, women dirty fighters.
Listen, we gotta fight dirty because the whole system's against us.
Yeah. Also, we often
Exactly.
have long nails. Like, why not use that? If I get in a fight, I am gonna do all of the dirty tricks to get out of that fight.
We have to be bloodthirsty because they don't even test period products with blood.
Ugh. Yeah. Been mad about that for days.
I like how you're so angry about that, and I was just like, I'm not even surprised. Like I'm just so numb to it all now.
Just seems so basic. I'm so sad.
Probably because it's been men testing it up until now.
Yeah, well, and it's like too complicated to try anything else. Even just the fact that it wasn't with like a fluid of similar viscosity. Like, there are a lot of hazards associated with using biological fluids like blood in testing, so I can see why they wouldn't want to use actual blood. But we do know the viscosity of menstrual blood. You could make a gel with the same consistency and viscosity and use that.
Do we know the viscosity of menstrual blood?
You could measure it, right?
Yeah.
Like, there
I'm
are a
sure
lot
they
of people who
haven't
use
yet.
menstrual cups. You could
Yeah.
collect the menstrual blood, you could do like, there's no reason that we shouldn't have this information.
And yet,
The thing I'm mad about this week, because I had 3 straight days of cramps, is apparently Viagra was like very promising as like a cramp, like a menstrual cramp pain relief tool, to the point where like it, in some like trials, it did not reduce cramp pain, it eliminated cramp pain, but they
Whoa.
did not decide to pursue that like potential use for like the whatever the active ingredient in Viagra is, because the board of directors and such decided that cramps were not a big enough problem to focus energy into. Which, again, I have downed almost a bottle of painkillers this week, so I am particularly salty about this particular nugget.
yeah. Yep. Wild that they don't have a painkiller specifically for cervix pain.
Imagine if you could take a painkiller that actually got rid of menstrual pain.
Yeah.
Wow.
That would be cool.
Literally life-changing.
Sorry, I just looked back over at my notes, and all caps at the top right now is just, you can't say Iggy is a vanilla. This is a children's book. Sorry. I know we already talked about it.
Yeah.
But it was just right
No,
there
you're
at the
right.
top, and it made me laugh. Okay, sorry.
Yeah, no, I mean, since this is a children's book, I should probably stop yelling about periods because I'm on mine and I'm real mad about it. And I could and will go on for hours if anybody lets me.
I mean, the only other thing that happens in this chapter is Max being a downer still more. Just
Oh my
like,
God,
wow,
constantly.
Nudge, you're having a good time in New York? Yeah, it would be so convenient if we lived here like you want to, because then the erasers could just track us down all the time, not in the middle of nowhere.
Max,
Max?
like, can you not?
Okay, but speaking of Nudge,
Uh-huh.
Uh-huh.
why does Nudge love delis so much? I need to know.
People in New York fucking love delis.
But delis are predominantly meat, right?
That's a good point.
Or am
That's
I
a great point.
Am I missing
I didn't
something?
think of that. No, that's correct. Maybe she really likes bread?
But that's a bakery. Like, did she mean a bakery?
No,
Because, like, I could see her liking a bakery, but why does she like the delis so much? Why are the delis the thing that get the big shout out?
Yeah,
Why?
this is a great point.
It's really
This is a
bothering
good-
me.
Yeah, I didn't think of that, and now I don't have an answer.
Especially like in 2005, I feel like everywhere has a vegetarian option now, but I
Yeah.
don't think they all had them in.
But not then.
No.
No.
And I mean, there's cheeses.
Cheese, yeah.
I don't think they'd have vegetarian based meats like they do
No.
today. But I realized how silly that sounded. I meant more like the
Like
Yeah.
artificial
Yeah.
Beyond products that
yeah.
are like Beyond Meat
Yeah.
and shit. But they could have, like, the only thing I could see is that they'd have like cheeses. Like, sometimes if you go to the delis at grocery stores, they have like different types of cheeses you can get. So maybe she likes the fancy cheeses because she's not vegan.
Yeah.
But
No.
it's still like, of all the things, it's like you would think bakeries would be more what she
Yeah.
wanted. Like, you know, some good New York style bagels.
Oh
But
my
no, we
God.
get a deli shout out.
We get a deli
A
shout out.
deli.
Are there often burritos that don't have meat in them?
Yeah, because Nudge does eat a burrito. Maybe she
Beans.
gave up being vegetarian for the week or for the day or whatever.
But no, burritos are normally beans. Like, that's
Okay.
the main thing with
They're
them.
normally
is-
beans and meat, are they not? But I mean, like, you could certainly get one without meat pretty easily.
Yeah, so I just assumed there she got like a bean and cheese one.
Okay.
Um,
I just
yeah.
don't eat very many burritos. I know you're our burrito expert, Sam, so
That's true.
I do love a good burrito.
I knew you could tell us.
No, that's the very easy thing. That one I didn't even raise a flag because I'm like, oh, she just got a vegetarian burrito. That's
Okay.
totally normal. It was the delis,
The
Yeah.
deli is concerning.
and I won't let it go.
The deli is a strange one. Like, maybe she just likes the idea of it.
Yeah, it could be.
That's what I thought, but then I'm also just like, but if you're a vegetarian, isn't the thought of a deli off-putting to you?
Yeah.
I don't think there's any sense to this. There was just a mistaken continuity made, and the
Yeah, I
editors
think
forgot
that's right.
Nudge was a vegetarian.
Yeah.
I think you're correct. I guess she does also say that she, like, finds it exciting how there are banks and subway stops and stores, none of which she probably uses either.
Yeah.
But still, she does
Yeah.
emphasize the deli, and I think you're right. I think they
It
just made a
should-
mistake.
It should be a bakery.
Yeah.
It should be a bakery.
would make
Or
more
even, like,
sense.
pizza. Like,
Yeah.
11-year-olds love pizza, and you can get a cheese
Yeah.
pizza. No problem.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's weird.
Exactly.
So funny.
What the heck?
What the heck? I mean, the other weird continuity thing, like right after that I got stuck on, was
Mhm.
that Max talks about how it's costing money to get all this food and that they're
Yeah.
running out. And I'm like, is this still that guy's card?
Yeah, from, like, yesterday?
Is it only from yesterday?
I think it's from, like, yesterday. Oh, no, because, like, they got captured in between
Yeah. So a couple days.
a couple days. Do they still have... Wait, did they escape with all of their possessions? Did they not get, like, searched when the school captured them? Hold on.
Hold on, everyone stop.
Wait a second. Where did they get this money?
I'm so confused. This isn't how you're supposed to read this book.
Yeah, once again, our habit of overanalysis comes back to bite us in the ass.
Yeah.
Who could have seen this coming?
It just feels like Max doesn't, like, isn't it gonna cost money? Doesn't it cost money every single day?
To get food, one
to
would
get
assume.
food?
Yep.
Yeah. I guess they dumpster dive a lot, so maybe not.
I guess that's true.
But they also specifically mention that they're running out of money.
Yeah.
Right.
So,
Like
they're clearly spending something.
Yeah, well,
from
because they're buying
somewhere.
all this food.
Yeah.
Money that they got somewhere somehow mysterious. I don't even
Mysteriously.
know.
Maybe the gas man was like pickpocketing in the zoo or something. Seems
mean,
like
I
something he would know
guess
how to do.
they do have like their windbreakers and stuff, so I guess maybe they were just like
That's
tossed
true.
in cages with everything they were wearing.
Ugh, why though?
I don't know. I can't answer that.
Because these are not smart scientists.
They're so dumb.
They're so bad at this. So
They're not
strange.
good at capturing people and making sure that all their belongings are taken at capture.
Uh-huh.
Don't know why I'm singing this.
A mystery for everyone.
Got some energy, you know.
Well, anyway, shall we talk about the last chapter?
I guess, yeah.
I guess. I don't know
There's not
what
much
there
to
is
say.
to talk about in here other than explain what a phone book is, I guess.
Oh, I just aged 10 years.
Yeah. Don't worry. I did look up if there would have been phone books in telephone booths.
Okay.
Yeah, there would have been.
Okay, good.
They weren't like stopped until 2012.
Okay.
Yeah.
Great. I'm so glad we know this.
Yeah, you're welcome. For anyone who doesn't know what they are, you can just look up anyone's address and phone number in them.
Which, in hindsight, fucking wild.
Fucking wild.
Yeah.
Anyway, that's all I had to say about that.
I also think it's kind of wild that they're like, we're looking for this powerful, shadowy organization called the Institute that does all of this like evil stuff and has files on like the immoral experimentation that they do on children, and we are going to find their location in a New York City phone book. It's like, they might not be listed.
Yeah, like you'd probably have to figure out what their cover name is, you know?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Also, Max says she doesn't even know that they're in New York City. She just decided to go to New York City. They could be like upstate New York. They
Oh,
could be in
yeah.
Yonkers. I don't know what Yonkers is, but I think it's near New York City, and it has a goofy ass
Yonkers?
name. Yonkers?
Yonkers?
There's a place called Yonkers.
Wow. That's fun.
Every time I see or hear it, I think it's fake, and then I remember it's not.
Man, it's not. That's fair. I do like. Is this the first time that we get Max doing actual, like, foretelling? I don't know.
Yeah, I think it's her first like full vision.
Yeah, because she looks up at the building that ends up being the library, and she looks up at it, and there's a large marble lion in front of it, like two of them flanking the entrance or something. And then she sees four lions, like they're superimposed over each other. So I'm guessing she has just a vision of this building. And I'm assuming it's like, yeah, the first time where she's getting like, this is where you need to go signal. You know?
I agree with that assessment.
Wow.
Yeah.
Gonna be so exciting.
I do like a library.
Me too.
Because I've got a library card. Which makes it easy to have fun. And so Max is like walking into the library all mysteriously. And Fang goes, how does she do that? It's like, literally all she did was make a decision. Like, calm down, bud. She didn't actually do anything.
A decision.
Okay, you know what? Now that you pointed that out, good point. I can't do that. Not a skill I have.
How does she do it?
How does she do it?
So mysterious.
So decisive.
Yeah. Well, maybe we'll find out how she does it if we guess what happens in the next chapter.
Nailed it. All right.
How does that sound for everybody?
Yeah, for sure.
Nice.
Great. Yeah. So, as always, I will read you the first sentence of each of the next 4 chapters, and you have to guess what's going to happen. Okay. So, chapter 81. Your sentence is inside, the library was awesome.
Yeah, I agree.
Yeah.
Yep. We
Correct.
love library.
Yeah. So what do you think is
They're in a
going to
library.
happen?
Yeah, they're in the library.
Yeah.
They're probably going to run across some erasers in the library.
Yeah, you're right.
They're everywhere. It's going to be another chase scene. I'm telling you. This is the falling asleep at the end of the chapter. It's a chase scene.
It's a chase scene with the erasers.
Every chapter.
Yeah.
There's
So
many.
annoying. It's so annoying.
It's so many of them.
It's the only way that they have moved the plot along is erasers do it.
Yep.
Erasers do it. Exit
Eraser this
pursued
book.
by erasers.
Exit pursued by erasers.
Yeah.
Oh god, I want that sticker.
Me too. Okay, chapter 82. Can we take the subway back to the park? Nudge asked tiredly.
I don't see why not.
Okay.
Asked and
So
answered.
no erasers, but they've ended up outside of the library and are on the subway apparently.
Yeah, or are thinking about taking the subway.
Or thinking
I bet
about...
Max wants them to walk back because she's going to be paranoid about the subway.
Probably.
What are they even going to do if they get on the subway?
And get chased by erasers, I bet.
Wow. Probably. Who knows? Maybe the beginning of chapter 83 will tell us.
Yeah.
Which says, "What does that mean?" the gas man asked, pointing to a small metal plaque that said, "Stay off the third rail."
Oh, so they are taking the subway.
Oh,
Or
okay. They got on the
walking.
subway. Wow, this is going to be so painful next
We're gonna have nothing to talk about. So far,
Oh.
they've gone to the library and then spent two chapters taking the subway.
Oh my god.
Okay.
We can talk about how great public transit
next.
is. Okay.
I miss good public transit.
Chapter
Yeah, same.
84.
Okay.
Your sentence is, "The brain explosion came again while I was sleeping."
Oh.
Oh.
So they're sleeping in the
wonder where
park
they're
and Max gets
sleeping.
another migraine? They're gonna fall asleep at the end of chapter 3. The third chapter, you know what I mean.
Uh-huh.
And then Max is gonna wake up and be like, my brain!
Exactly like that.
Probably, yeah.
Yeah, wow, yeah, the response was overwhelmingly positive.
Yeah.
I'm more just thinking they're gonna fall asleep in a park and then the erasers are gonna come and find them. The erasers are gonna come in at some point in these 4.
Yeah, we didn't
there's
really
no
have
doubt in my
erasers
mind.
this time. Yeah,
Yeah.
there has to be erasers.
They gotta be back at some point.
Yeah.
Maybe 4 times. Who even knows?
Ugh.
I guess we'll
Yep.
find out next time. But until then, let's talk about what else we're reading. I think I read 6 Mercedes Lackey books.
Again?
Yeah.
Oh my god.
Wow.
Listen, I forget which ones I said last time. But anyway, I read the Oathbound series and then By the Sword. And I think I maybe read the whole Arrows of the Queen trilogy also.
Wow.
So,
Okay.
anyway, I'm having a great time.
Yeah.
I'm gonna run out of books soon and I'm gonna be sad about it. But anyway, that's what I'm reading. What about you guys?
I'm mostly reading a lot of the same things I've mentioned previously, but I guess I'll just say them again because this is my life. I'm rereading Mistborn by Brandon Sanderson because I am. I'm still reading Meet Me at the Lake by Carly Fortune. I started reading When Women Were Dragons by Kelly Barnhill, which is our August book club pick, which at the time of this recording, yes, it is not August anymore, but it is right now, so And then I also started reading Twisted Love by Anna Huang, which is just one of those book talk hyped up romance books, and I decided to give it a try because my hold came through at the library, so why not?
Nice.
And that's that.
Dang, nice.
Yeah.
I'm still reading He Who Drowned the World by Shelley Parker Chan. I'm about halfway through that one. And I started listening to The Wager, A Tale of Shipwreck, Mutiny, and Murder by David Gran, which I thought was a historical fiction. It's actually nonfiction.
Oh.
Right? I feel like it every time I see it, it's with fiction books. So I was like, oh, a fiction. And it's not. But I mean, I love me a shipwreck nonfiction book, so I'm totally down with that. And in between, I also read Thornhedge by T. Kingfisher, which was really good. It was short and cute. Yeah, it hasn't come out yet.
Oh.
Hannah's just always like flexing this NetGalley, all these early access books she gets.
See, the problem is that I got too excited and requested too many books, and I haven't caught up yet. But He Who Drowned the World is my second last book
Wow.
before I've caught up with all of the requests I made when I got too excited. So I'm stoked to get to choose something to read that I didn't accidentally pick out 4 months ago.
Great.
But yeah, Thornhedge, really cute. And by the same author as our September book club book,
Woo.
which is going to be Paladin's Grace.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm excited about that.
Me too.
Yeah, I'm also getting a little burnt out on high fantasy, so I hope it's like not too much. It seems like it might be high fantasy.
It's like D&D fantasy.
Yeah, that's a little different.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah, D&D fantasy is fun.
You like know what's going on. You don't have to learn the world.
Yeah, love that for me and for us. If you liked this chapter of Midlight Crisis, consider rating and reviewing us on Spotify or your podcatcher of choice. I just looked at my outro script to make sure that I was remembering it and accidentally looked at my summary and almost said, if you're full of weirdos, which is not accurate. But if you are full of weirdos, you can talk to us and find fun-related content on social media, where we are full of weirdos, on Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, TikTok, Tumblr, and Blue Sky. And I need to stop freestyling this, and all chapters of the show thus far are available on our website, midlightpod.podbean.com, and on YouTube.
And this time, Max decided to imitate Hannah when she came to visit Sophie and I. I must have cookies!
Oh my god, that cookie place, though.
Exactly how it was said.
Like every day.
I ate 6 cookies from that place.